Thank you, Colin. Thank you, the Baring family, for having us here. Quick introduction. My name is Phuong Lei. I'm a partner with David Hurston and Partners. So we're a full-service EB-5 law firm. We were built top-down to focus on the EB-5 industry. We represent investors from all around the world, China, Vietnam, South Korea, and India. We also represent regional centers, projects, and everybody across the industry. I myself have been doing EB-5 for well over a decade. In the past 2 years alone, we filed over 2,000 EB-5 petitions. So this is our bread and butter, and this is what we do. Happy to answer any questions you have. So today, my topic is a little bit more serious of a topic, and it's a problem for a lot of investors. But thankfully, I think that the problem is really solvable, or really addressable. So the problem we're going to talk about today is retrogression. As Aaron kind of hit on earlier, it's a problem of supply and demand. The problem is this. You have essentially 10,000 EB-5 visas available worldwide. Each country only gets 7% of those visas. So whether you're an investor from China, from Vietnam, or from India, your country only gets about 700 visas. So retrogression happens when you have more I-526 filings than visas available, which is what's happened nowadays. So this is a basic calculation of the number of, let's say, I-526 filings for India. So from what we know so far, there are 3 countries nowadays that have backlog investors. Those countries are China, Vietnam, and India. Vietnam and India are kind of unique because for their petitions, for the I-526 petitions, they tend to have more dependents than other countries. So for each I-526 petition, what we're seeing is about at least 2.5 dependents for each I-526 petition. So these are year-over-year number of I-526 filings. What you kind of see is with each increase of the number of I-526 petitions out there, what you basically have is the longer you wait, the longer you're probably going to have to wait in line in order to get an EB-5 visa. So this is a side-by-side comparison with China, Vietnam, and the other countries that are expected to backlog. This is China. So China is by far the worst example of the backlog. Vietnam, it's only about a year or two, but now you see their numbers increasing as well. And so our firm has been warning about the possible backlog for India for a number of years now. So it's finally hit home now. So this is a backlog for all the countries, right? So right now, China has by far the longest backlog. It's about 6.5 years. India, in May of this year, Charlie Oppenheim, the head of the Department of State, had issued a warning that he expects India to become backlogged this summer. Once it becomes backlogged, he expects the waiting time to be about 8.5 years or 8.4 years before an EB-5 visa is available for an Indian investor. We just saw the July 2019 visa bulletin, and as of right now, India is actually officially backlogged to May of 2019. So this is from the July 2019 visa bulletin. For the first time ever, like we said, India is backlogged to May 1st, 2017. So part of this is a lot of people that we talk to from India are worried about like how does the backlog affect them. If I start the process nowadays, am I going to be one of the first or one of the last ones who is going to be waiting in line? From what we've seen, there has been interest, there's been movement in people filing for EB-5 petitions from India. But from what we see, especially, for example, you take these H-1B people, we think that the number of, the interest from India is just starting to begin now. So basically the people today who are moving forward the EB-5 process, much like you folks, you guys are probably going to be closer to the front of the line versus the back of the line. So as of right now, I think that even though there's a lot of interest in India, if you file today, you are probably going to be closer to the front than to the back. So basically each year, there's 10,000 visas available for EB-5. Each country only gets 7%. So this is total, if we take the 516 H-1Bs, this is the total pool you have. But based on the number of EB-5 petitions that we have, this is the number that have actually filed I-526 petitions. It's very, very small.
Yeah, so I apologize. I actually was designing some of the slides, I moved things around on Phuong, so I left him confused on what I ruined for him. Going back a couple slides, looking, really we've had a lot of our clients and a lot of people that are here on H-1B and they're considering EB-5, but now that the retrogression hits, one of the questions that we get immediately was, am I too late? The retrogression hit, now there's a backlog, what am I doing now? And the truth is, out of 516,000 H-1Bs that are here since 2011, meaning there's no way that you have an approved I-140 for EB-2 prior to 2011, and the backlog for EB-2 is not short. And it's dozens of years if you have passed a 2011 priority date. And if the backlog is 8 years for India right now, the total pool of people that potentially is looking at EB-5 that have H-1Bs now and potential I-140s, say it's only 10% of the actual H-1Bs that are here. It goes from 500,000 to 51,000 potential people looking at EB-5. 2,400 Indians have filed for I-526s since 2014. So when looking at that total pool, the people that have actually already filed from that 500,000 to maybe 10% of those that are looking at EB-5, only 0.047% of H-1B investors, or Indians in general, not just H-1Bs, all Indian petitioners, only 0.047% of the H-1B pool is actually filed. So if it feels like you're too late, but you're the first 0.47% to think about it, you've got to feel pretty early still. When we tried to scale it on this image, we couldn't even put the yellow portion of the actual filings on the graph.
Literally the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.